Can you give me a huge
Yeah, I
favor?
got it.
Yep.
All right. We will, yeah.
Thank you.
In the room? Nope, in the room. I just need one, Matt. Now we're ready. We'll get started with the post-game press conference after the NIU Purdue Northwest game. We have head coach Rashon Burno. Coach, you want to start us off with a statement about tonight's game?
Tonight, the guys really went out and showed, who they were as a program, who they were as a team. We had a really good Saturday off day, but we had a chance to communicate. We also had a really good Sunday where we just focused on ourselves. And we knew that we'll have a breakthrough, just a matter of when. I believe we got a good ball club. Obviously with injuries and sicknesses, didn't allow us to show the true version of ourselves. But, we had to go out and perform, and that's what they did. I'm happy for all the guys that got in the game. It was an opportunity to play in front of your home crowd and really put on a good show. We got some things we need to shore up, but I'm really excited that we got the win. And guys got, the first one of the season. Then they can, get back to believing they're good basketball players again. And then, tomorrow brings another challenge. We got to get prepared for Georgia Tech. But tonight was a great feeling for those guys in that locker room to go out and perform well.
Everyone stepped up today for you, Coach. What did you really like from this game specifically that you want to carry into the rest of the season?
Well, just the ball movement. 22 assists is really reminiscence of what we did in Canada, and that's the team I think we were more like than the two nights that we had prior. So the ball movement was there. We had main guys step up. Shot selection, shot distribution was there, which is always a good thing to see. We rebounded the ball well. We crashed the board, 11 offensive boards for 18 second chance points. That's always a good thing, especially when you have lulls in games where you're not shooting the ball particularly well. You want to be able to get second and third attempts at the basket. So I thought that was a bright side. The negatives, we turned the ball a little bit too much, 20 turnovers. On a different night can spell a different result. So we got to clean that up. But overall, I'm happy with just the effort and the execution. We shot 60% on a night. If you minus the 20 turnovers, you cut that in half. I mean, how many more shot attempts and how many more makes we can add? We probably would have had 120 points, but we didn't value the ball the way we needed to. And so that's why the score is what it is. But I'm happy with the intentions of everyone that was in the game.
And you guys also dominated as well on the defensive side, forcing 16 turnovers, and you guys had 7 steals, 3 blocks. Was locking in on defense, how big was that? How big of an emphasis point was that this game after the first few games of the season?
Well, statistically, we did a good job at Northwestern. They shot 5 for 22 from 3. So that has to be a staple. It's the three-point line, defending the paint. So I'm happy with that. Forcing turnovers, getting out in transition. I like offensive rebounding. Allows you to get easy points. Allows you to take pressure off your half-court offense. So that's a staple, and it allows us to play deeper in our bench. We'll have 12 to 13 guys on full scholarship. All those guys can play, contribute something, and so we have to get more attempts at the basket, more pace, so we can get all the guys in the game.
And then another great game from Zariq. How crucial will he be, and how crucial is he right now to the team's success all year?
Well, he's one of those guys that can do a lot. He's a focal point and will be a focal point of the opposing team, which allows Keyshawn Williams and David Coit to have a little bit more freedom. We didn't have a guy like him last year where you can play off of. And he's a guy that can really contribute on both sides of the ball. He's a really matchup nightmare, 6'7". So I think, obviously if he stays healthy and continue to get better, improve some of his decisions, he's going to be one of our better players and one of the better players in the MAC.
And how valuable was it just to be able to get those 7, 8, 9, 10, those guys in the game today?
That's a great question. It means a lot to those guys because they practice. right? And they practice and they practice and they practice, and you want to see, some reward at the end of the day. And so I'm super excited for those guys and the guys who, the Keyshawn's, the Diggies, the Nutters were super excited. If you watch the bench, they were happy for those guys because they're valuable members of our program, and they give us everything. The service of the program. When you're not playing like AP, who hasn't played a minute in 2 games, right? He's getting 7, 8 minutes. Guys are happy for their teammates. So that's a great question, and it shows how close those guys are as teammates.
And now going on the road for the next, 8 games, just how will this help kind of spur you on to that? And how do you approach the long road trip like this?
Well, I love road trips. I love being on the road. I mean, you can control the environment. You're in hotels. You're around each other. I can get these guys locked in. A little tougher at home because they're in their own rooms. They got their distractions. On the road, we can lock in and really focus on the task. And all we do, like we've done last year, is take one game at a time. Like take one game at a time. Like be very deliberate, very intentional on what we need to accomplish to get the win. But I enjoy these guys in hotel settings because you can forge a relationship that's much more deeper on the road than you can at home. Anytime you win, you can take the positives from it. And so we're going to continue to try to build off of tonight and get these guys in the right frame of mind to get back tomorrow and have a really good teaching day. We can't do much because obviously the game ended at 9, so we'll practice 12:45 and really focus on cleaning up some of our mistakes.
Last thing, Coach, do you have any update on Yannick Niederhauser?
He's getting close. He's exceeding our expectations in regards to his recovery. He's still I want to say a couple weeks out. I'll get an update, I think, when we get down to Fort Myers, but he's very close to returning. Our training staff done a phenomenal job with his recovery, and he's done a phenomenal job with his process of making sure that he's eating healthy, making sure that he's listening, and he's putting in extra work.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.